What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for May 18th, 2026. Defensecon is here, and CIG is in full sell mode, but 4.8 dropped, and it certainly has some issues, but the wipe in that patch helped CIG break a record. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike. So stop by and get your drops with me this week if you haven't gotten them yet. And yeah, we got a ton to get through. But before we do, let me share with you today's sponsor. Thank you to Tobii Gaming and the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 for sponsoring today's video. I use Tobii all the time, whether it's in PvE combat, PvP combat, when I do it, content creation, or simply logging into my computer. As a Star Citizen player, it's extra nice because of the direct integration into the game and its settings. You have so many things you could tweak to get exactly what you want out of the Tobii Eye Tracker 5. For example, you can have your player's head move based on your head or eye movement, or a combination of the two. My personal preference is to only move based on my head movement. I mostly use this to track targets that have flown out of my standard view to get them back onto my crosshair as soon as possible. Before I used this, I had no idea how impactful being able to track a target in this way really was. There is a new feature that helps this even more: Camera Boost. This setting will increase the sensitivity of your in-game head movement the more you move away from the center, making it so you can turn all the way around without having to in real life. This makes tracking a target not give you a stiff neck at the end of your session. My favorite feature is Target Glaze. So remember when I said I don't really do the eye tracking part? In Star Citizen, Tobii knows which target I'm looking at, and I can lock onto that specific one with just one click. When you have a lot of things on the screen, this comes up really big. And lastly, as you can see, I wear glasses. It tracks perfectly with them on, and you don't need studio lights or fancy cameras to pick you up either. You can just be in very low light, and it works just fine. And don't stress, if you have a curved monitor, Tobii works with those as well. If you're interested in picking up the Tobii Eye Tracker 5, head over to tobii.gg/SaltEMike SC26 for 15% off. There's also a special link for a sweepstakes in the description for a free Tobii Eye Tracker 5, so don't miss out. Thank you again to Tobii, and with all the bills paid, let's jump into the massive update that was 4.8. All right, and we start out on Monday, and it was a 4.8 open PTU, and the big update from me here was that we were able to check out the Ironclad early if you own the ship. This has not been CIG's thing for the last few sales. They would just release an extremely broken ship or ships into live, and kind of would just like take the air out of the excitement quite quickly. We'll talk later about that, but there were issues and some were fixed, but not all of them. Then there was a wipe update. So before 4.8 went live, they finally let us know that they're going to wipe the patch. Of course, this was not without some drama. The initial wipe was meant to wipe our wallets, reputation, purchase ships, executive hangar ships, items found and bought in-game, crafted items, resources, and more, but not Zyloh ships. The moment people realized this, they went back to 4.7, started exploiting to get as many Zyloh ships as possible, and yeah, this is why we can't have nice things, people. So CIG decided, and rightfully so, since many Zyloh ships were already exploited previously to this announcement, to remove them as well. A full wipe, essentially, besides blueprints, which were also exploited. So let's talk about that. What's the difference? CIG doesn't have a solution for the blueprint exploit. You can still share missions and earn them in a group. So it would just force people to do that again, and that doesn't make sense to punish people who earned it legitimately if they don't solve issues. So sort of, yeah, people earned Zyloh ships legitimately too, but unfortunately, they solved those exploits. So it makes sense to wipe that and see what starting from scratch is like with all of those features outside of the blueprint thing. We did get another update as well. Insurance is changing in 4.8. So there's, a few things that have changed there. You actually have to insure any ship that you modify. You have to click a button and it comes with a cost. But the cool thing is the timer starts the moment you spawn the ship, not when you wanted a new one or it was destroyed before. For me, I have had a more positive experience as I don't lose ships that often and I tend to have the timer completed. So anytime I make a claim, it's instant and I just get right back into the game. So I don't also notice the cost associated with it because it's extremely low. I don't fly huge ships, so things have been fairly positive for me. Lots of people have complained about this, but I've not had a single negative experience yet. But if there's a bug right now where you lose paints, essentially, I heard about that. I haven't put any paints on any ships, so I haven't lost them. They do want to fix this, but I'm not aware of any fix yet. 4.8 went live. Nothing really to overshare here, as you know a lot of what's going on. Big thing was TSG is the focus, but you need to earn rep to see it, and the mission system broke really badly. So it was hard to earn the rep to try it. My org has done it a few times right now. I haven't done it just yet. My focus has been more on another feature, crafting. I'm earning blueprints for ship weapons and rep for meta weapons later in the patch. Overall, I'm enjoying the grind. I really am enjoying the grind this time, and if you need more information, they did a Tactical Strikes group post to give info for anybody who needs that, and an FAQ for the entire patch, which is pretty cool because it does have so many things inside. But again, lots of issues with things like the Ironclad. They did fix the part of the command module thing, but not others, like you QT and it just disappears and stuff. Hotfix Central. As always, they hotfix early and often nowadays, and this is solving some issues, but none of the major ones like the one I had just mentioned. That being said, Saturday night, they did do maintenance, and this was to address the mission issues. But I cannot confirm or deny if this solved anything as I'm recording this right now, right before trying the patch on my live stream Sunday morning. So let me know in the comments if they fixed anything. And with that, that was 4.8. I know we skipped over it quite quickly. There's so much stuff in there. But in the end, the big thing is the wipe and redoing old content that you've done before. And it all feels more meaningful now. Trying to get upgrades for ships. Like people are saying, oh, 25K for what was it? A golem container while we were mining. People were complaining about the prices and it felt so good. Like before, people were just throwing money around and didn't care. And now it's money's actually meaningful. We'll see for how long. And with that, let's move on to video updates. All right, and this was a Star Citizen Live about Defensecon ships, but quick feedback here on the show. It was awesome for them to do the show and tell us about the ships. Having little video, even though it was in the editor of each ship, and having a dev who knows the game really well follow along with the conversation and hit those parts of the ship while they were talking about them was great. Now, let's get into the clips. So this is normally something that I would probably just include in quick hits at the end, but I wanted you guys to see the frustration that Ben, the art director, kind of had with a bug on the Ironclad and many other ships.
So there's a number of questions about the lighting in the ships. Apparently there's some issues with the...
There is some issues with them. Drives me crazy. I love it when the first time people see ships, all the lighting's broken. It's brilliant.
I know, that's why we do it. What do you want to say about the broken lighting, Ben?
It's broken. it should be being fixed.
Okay.
Yep, it infuriates me as much, if not more, than everyone else.
Who was he frustrated with, I wonder? Himself? I don't think it was the people sitting at the table that he was with. I think there's a lighting team. Maybe it's them, but it really doesn't matter. The point can go anywhere. Like, then don't push the patch when it's ready can be a point that you make. Or I'm happy to see that he's annoyed as I am is a point that you can make. For me, the point I make was, I think it just shows that he cares to do a good job, and he's frustrated that he didn't, or the team didn't, or they could have done better, right? That's the kind of thing that you want to see, but I don't want them to just be mad. I want them to be better. That's important too. And then Jared talks about the issues, with the mission system, and we get a little update on when our next patch is.
Let's use this opportunity to talk about the mission system. Why not? We were going to do it at some point. The mission system is having some trouble. You obviously don't need me to tell you that if you've tried to jump in. They are working on a hotfix to fix that right now. The patch that we mentioned that's supposed to be going out next Tuesday is not for hotfixes. That's an actual legitimate build and a patch. The hotfix for the emission system that will hopefully restore what's happening there, I don't have any more details about specifics, will go out as soon as somebody decides that it's ready to go out. But hotfixes, patches, different.
So yeah, mission system really busted. Nothing new here really. There's a patch for Tuesday already, which is pretty impressive. What do you think that is? It can't be Xeno threat, right? Because I think that's going to fall around Alien Week. Curious what that's going to entail. Let me know what you guys think it is. With that, Jared also updates us on the situation with paints, but also shares that CIG broke a little record.
For folks asking about the paints and stuff that are not showing up in game, yes, there is a separate issue. Basically, without going into too many details, we have crushed our concurrency records for this patch. The last 24 hours have seen a concurrency the likes of which Star Citizen has not seen before. And that's slowing down a number of systems. One, the mission system, and two, the ability for the entitlements to actually filter into the game. They are working on that. They are attributing more resources. The stuff that you, the paints and stuff that you purchase in the store will show up in the game. They're not lost or anything like that. It's just, it's all slow right now because there's just a lot of people knocking on the authentication and knocking on the entitlements right now.
All right, good for them. They have more players playing than ever before. The wipes are extremely motivating for people who complained about wipes happening. You're outnumbered by a lot, by a landslide. And this next clip made me pretty annoyed.
Quantum Space Weasel says, why are you not incentivizing in-game financial rewards for all gameplay loops equally? You need to be able to get rich doing all loops. No, you don't. Not every game loop is supposed to be a path to riches. That's basically what I just got done saying. It's like not all ships are supposed to be able to do all missions. Not all ships are supposed to be able to kill all other ships and stuff like this. There are choices to be made, and in Star Citizen, you're not meant to be one thing. You're not meant to be only this. You know, I'm only a miner, and that's the only loop I do. If that's what you choose, so be it. But we are attempting to build a universe here where you're a miner on Monday, and you're a hauler on Tuesday, and you're a salvager on Wednesday, and maybe you're a medic on Thursday and stuff. And they all provide unique and interesting experiences with all their own unique and interesting rewards, should we do this right. And no, not every profession needs to be a path to insane riches.
It's not always about the destination to wealth in that case. It's sometimes about the journey, just the experience.
So I imagine you listen to this and you're like, what's he annoyed about? I didn't have any issues with this. Well, modern MMOs, which almost always fail, consistently do this thing where you can be anything and do anything with a single character. You don't need anyone else. This is the antithesis of what MMOs were in their glory days and why they were good. Even pointing out to the ones that are successful today, most of them make you choose some form of a path, and you need others who choose other paths to succeed together. So I have my concerns with this, and I think Jared's comments are interesting because he's not the one who decides any of this. He's not a developer. He is a marketing guy. And two, it kind of shows that they don't really have a clear vision for anything. And lastly, if a profession, keyword profession, like mining and salvage, makes more than anything else, people will only do that. Now let's go to that journey, not the destination comment. They're not wrong at all. Of course, part of it is about the journey, if not most of it. But to me, there's a difference between refueling ships or refueling as a career and, say, medical as a career. Refueling could be mining, but just for gases. So it could be similar in value and probably should be similar in value to the player. While medical gameplay fits inside other content like Rockbreaker or the worm fight, right? It's paramount to succeeding when doing that, but it is not the content, where refueling or gas mining, right? Because that's what a refueling chip technically could be if they wanted it to be, could be its own thing. But right, like the medical stuff doesn't necessarily hold up really well on its own. The game has proven that so far, but is really important to always be doing. So thoughts on that, guys? Let me know. You're always welcome to disagree, but I know I feel so strongly by this, and I probably won't change my mind because of my experiences that I've had in MMOs for God, since I was 16, 15 years old, right? And then for quick hits, they spent a lot of time on the signage and traversal on the Ironclad in comparison to, say, the Polaris initially, and I think they nailed it. The command module is bugged and gets shot off too easily. Working on a fix right now where the attached command module will pass its damage onto the whole ship. Right now it's acting like a wing, so it just falls off. When the ship is full, eventually, you will need to use VTOLs to be able to take off with full cargo and then swap when you're out of atmosphere. They want to let us carpet bomb with bombs because obviously they've sold bombs on bomb racks for more ships now. The game limitations are getting in the way, I guess, for now. And lastly, there will be an SCL on Sunday the 24th, and it will be for the Odin. So that was video updates. I skipped a lot of stuff there around the art on the ships because that's all they really did was just look at the ships and talk about the art. That is, for some of you guys, hard to clip that out for any like hardcore information. So link is in the description for the SCL. Feel free to go check that out. And we're going to move on to other updates. And of course, we start out with a sneak peek, and we'll move on from this one quickly because it's not a sneak peek. It is the M80. We've seen it multiple times up to this point, and we saw it in like the video stuff like plenty of times now. So a picture of it is definitely not a sneak. Monthly bundle is next for Defensecon. They have this red line bundle. It comes with a red Buccaneer paint. And again, like I say this every time, there are not skins for the items. They are items themselves, a red Gallant rifle, and then the red version of a new flight suit. These are items that will be treated differently than items earned in the game. And for me, that is always a bad thing. Defensecon, let's first start out with the big FAQ post. This is all the information here from how to get in-game and how to get to the Defensecon and how it works with referral rewards and limited ship times and all that. So anything you really need is here. Link is in the description for that. Next, we got a post with the schedule of every ship you can rent and on what days for Defensecon. And again, link is in the description. I won't say that anymore. They're all down there. I share all the sources of information that we gather here so you can make up your own mind about anything that we talk about. Then there is a referral post. This is got a new dragonfly paint on it. They've done a ton of dragonflies in the past, but I've never seen this paint before, I don't think. Let me know if I was wrong on that, which is kind of cool. And now the actual sales. We have to start out with vehicle mods. Last year, this was the biggest drama CIG has possibly ever seen, and the community was, I think, fairly well on the same side on this one. Selling power in the game with flight blades was not a good thing. The community largely came together and said no, just like Jared did about the refueling gameplay earlier. But I hear, that this wasn't the case. People said no, but bought a ton of them. And CIG did a really, really scummy thing here. This is marketing 101. It's trash and I hate it. CIG placed flight blades in a bundle that had unique paints that were black. There are no paints that are black for many of these ships, especially the Gladius, which was extremely popular at the time. So if you wanted the paint, you had to buy the flight blades too. I want to know how many people that bought the flight blades actually put them on their ships. How many of those people put the paint on their ships and things like that. They said they learned their lesson and would sell them at the same time in-game for in-game credits. Well, we again said no in that post that Zyloh made about that, and it got less traction, but not that much less. So they tried it this year, and I'm sure they're doing great. I think selling any power in the video game is a bad thing, period. But of course, if you do it, people will buy it, right? And this will continue, and it will only get worse. The more you buy it, the more CIG is going to do it. CIG sold the soul of their game a long time ago, and maybe not all of it, but most of it. And what's left of it is hanging on by a thread, in my opinion. The Ironclad is on sale again, so just getting back into like the normal sales of ships, which that's part of the biggest soul of the game that they sold. And it was available in-game as well. The thing that I was more interested in is what the new paints that were available, and I have to say I'm kind of disappointed in the paint offerings. And in terms of price, nothing really surprising there. It's a lot of money. Next is a Pit Bull sale, and I am going to focus on the same things, prices and skins. For the skins, similar offerings, and yeah, nothing too crazy here. And the price is what you would expect for a snub. nearly the price of a AAA video game. I have no interest in snubs personally, but you can't deny it does look pretty cool. On the contrary to my opinion about the blades, the gray sail is by far the best thing that I've ever seen CIG sell in Star Citizen ever. I have to say this before, I want them to do well, but not kill their game. This is it. This is it. Purely cosmetic body kits being sold for the Shiv that gives it style. Man, these are so cool. More of this CIG, please, for like every ship. I don't care. Want to know the best part, guys? This is the best part. You can buy this $30 pack or a combination of different packs that has, you see that there's 12 item add-ons. There's 3 different packs that have 4 different items in them, and you can mix and match because there's different sections of the Shiv that you can modify. This is amazing. Absolutely great job, guys. Love this. Then we, of course, have to talk about the M80. Apparently, its flight is similar to the F8C, and it's $300. Paints are just kind of okay. I'm not an Origin fan, not a Heavy Fighter fan, never liked the style. So let me know what you guys think about it, but it's not for me. Then moving on, Defensecon ship FAQ. So this is all the ships that we just talked about, but there's like a mega FAQ post. I think it's kind of cool idea. I'm kind of good idea that they did this, and I think that they're gonna update it throughout the week as more ships come out after you watch this video. For the Ironclad, I will just pull out this question since it's the deciding factor on which Ironclad I will choose, is kind of the fabricator and if it's useful. And yeah, they're saying it can make any blueprint, so they're not restricting by any size here. This can't possibly be correct because it implies that I could potentially craft a vehicle on this vehicle with that little tiny fabricator, right? But regardless, I will be able to craft to and from the cargo grid. That's like the important part of this post here. And for that, I might actually go with the Assault instead of the regular Ironclad. The Pitbull's #1 question for me is how it fares against the Fury, and it's more maneuverable, but has less tank, and of course, the loadout is 6 guns, but of lower size. Until next week, excuse me, the M80. It has stronger guns compared to its competitors, but less of them. That tends to be the better ship with the new armor system, if I'm not mistaken. Not really a combat guy. Let me know in the comments if I'm right on that. And then lastly, dev post. We'll start out with the free fly delay. There was supposed to be a free fly. Where is it? Nicou gives a tiny bit more info here and the kind of the context of the delay. I actually just realized I probably should have included that in the SCL. Regardless, they decided to delay the free fly because of the issues with the mission system and many other things. They want to make sure that the patch is working well enough so they can sell more ships and not have a 318 situation, because if a free fly happened, it likely would become that. I really should have included this with the SCL because they kind of made it seem like they care about us. I don't necessarily believe that. I think they care about their bottom line, and they could do the free fly after and then gain more money maybe during Alien Week, or like Nicou is saying here, it's going to run until the 27th. So that's 9 more days from the posting of this video. So if it's only 7 days, it's still not the end of the world. Who knows? It could be running by the time you guys see this because, yeah, we talked earlier that they might have nailed some of the mission issues. Then posts from Zyloh. These usually are not very good because he's usually putting out some fires and ending up causing more fires. In this case, I think he's putting out a fire here and doing a good job of it. So people are seeing posts from RM tiers, like on eBay and stuff like that, in an alpha, which is mind-blowing to me still, claiming to have money to sell on day 1, making people assume CIG didn't nail the exploits. Now, I assume there are still some exploits, but Zyloh is here saying they're not seeing this on their end. Again, keyword on their end. Maybe it is happening, but they're just not being able to see it. The most someone made in 24 hours is what he's saying is about 50 million, which checks out because, again, missions pay way too much. The irony of this is funny because it's still so insanely broken and CIG is their own exploit, right? Again, we did not have a wipe for about a year and a half. Multiply 50 million a day for a year and a half, and how much is that guy going to have? Of course, they're not going to do it every day, but yeah. You know, this will multiply and compound. And within a few months, the economy is going to be insanely broken again. UEX is going to be a not fun experience to deal with and all that stuff. And I really hope CIG starts to recognize this. They put in a gold sink and then paid you more. it makes no sense. So it drives me nuts. The economy team to me is just lost. So again, that is it for Week in Review. I want to go before I get any more mad. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Again, links for all the sources are in the description. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed it. Check out Toby if you guys haven't yet. And yeah, thank you very much again for watching, and I'll catch you guys all next week.